You're listening to the GCRN Radio Network. Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
Heathcliff, no one should terrify their neighborhood, but Heathcliff just won't be undone, playing pranks on everyone. There's a race to be on top, the competition doesn't stop, mixing with the ladies' fair, being charming debonair, the game will reign supreme, and no one can deny. They'll make them history, and always have another fine time. So join in the jubilee, the cat stars race and all agree. Find and teach calamity, the cat's superiority. Oh, Heathcliff, no one should terrify their neighborhood, but Heathcliff just won't be undone. You should realize he can win with you.
Hello and welcome to the 61st episode of ToonCast, brought to you by the GeekCast Radio Network. I'm your host, Steve Joe and Mike, and joining me as always is Kevin Thompson. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
I am doing pretty good.
Yes. And today we are going to be talking about a very mischievous cat, much like last week, only this week it's Heathcliff.
Yay!
Yes, I can see you're very enthused.
I love my cats.
You know what's funny? When I was going back to YouTube to watch some of the episodes of Heathcliff, I remembered another very mischievous and dastardly cat that is not on the schedule that I'm probably going to have to add.
Uh-oh.
Everybody loves TC.
Top cat?
I can't believe Top Cat's not on the schedule.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to change it around again and figure out a place to put Top Cat.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because as we go through this whole schedule, you know, bit by bit, every once in a while I come across one that's not on the schedule and I'm like, oh, we forgot about one, or don't. But it's like, you can only cover so much.
Well, it's like one of those things where you just don't know. I mean, you know, I was going, when I first started the schedule, I was going off whatever, you know, mainly 80s ones that I could think of, and then we started going back in time. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know. I gotta say, Doug might have to give up his spot.
I have no problem with that.
I mean, I like Doug. It was an alright cartoon, but, yeah, he might have to give up his spot. Let's see here. So what else has been going on with you, sir?
Let's see. Besides some house stuff, I've been staining my deck, so I spent 5 or 6 hours outside doing that, and I still got about 25% of it left to do, so so that's been the main thing I've been doing around the house. As far as on the world of the internet and everything, let's see, the last couple things I've been doing over at BTVA is got on a little G.I. Joe kick. I added a couple dozen characters to the G.I. Joe, the Deke series, mm-hmm. And I've added all the characters to the G.I. Joe Sigma 6 series, so G.I. Joe's looking a little more rounded out, although I still have lots to find on the Deke series, but it's so painful trying to watch those that it's hard to force myself to grab those pictures. Those guys are so, I don't know. After watching the Sunbow series, or even seeing little episodes, then you see the same characters show up on the Deke series, looking different, sounding different, acting like morons. It's tough.
Yeah, it's kind of like what they did with the 87 Turtles and Turtles Forever. Fucking bastards.
You didn't like Turtles Forever?
I like the film. I don't like the way they portrayed the 87 series Turtles, though.
Oh, I agree with that.
They were not. They might have been campy and quirky and all that stuff in the original series, but they were not that fucking...
Yeah.
Just out... Oh, God. Pisses me off. I finally finished my O2 Masters.
I did watch about 4 more episodes, but I'm still only about at number 15, so...
Well, I finally finished it. I finally finished writing it up, and it's on the website. It's under my Rantings of TFG1 Mike blog thing on the website. So I included as many characters for photo comparison as possible, but I kept I kept thinking that I had already had a majority of them, like Cobra Khan and Webstore and Beastman and Tongue Lashor and all that stuff. I could have sworn I had already had them for the 80s series, and turns out I didn't, so I had to spend, a couple weeks ago, I spent about 6 hours one day going back and forth between the 80s series DVDs and the O2 series DVDs, getting screen grabs.
Yeah.
And in the end, I said, fuck it. I just said, fuck it. I'll put in the most, recognizable characters for the most part, and if the rest of them aren't in there,
right.
Oh well. I mean, it's just the ones that I did grab, and eventually, if you ever look at the post, it's pretty much showing the difference in the updated versions compared to the old ones. You get the gist of what I was doing. So,
right.
Not every character had to be in there. I'm like, oh god. It's kind of like you and your Frank Welker quest.
What are we at? We're at 290. We're right about 300 somewhere, getting close to that. So, with a ton more to add.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. Yeah, it's so yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. Doing all that stuff, and still working on TSOP. I'm currently watching Star-Crossed and all that. We're finishing up season 2 of Justice League, so that's that. Over on MWire, we just recorded Men in Black last night, or well, by the time this airs, a few weeks ago, but whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, why don't
do you have any thoughts on before we get started? Any thoughts on the whole plot of Transformers Prime?
So far, I love it. From what I've heard.
Yeah, me too.
What
I don't love is all the retards out there that can't understand what was meant by it.
Well, the thing is, though, Hasbro has come out and stated that War for Cybertron is pretty much canon. War for Cybertron is the new backstory for the next, however many years that they're going to draw content off of or fiction off of. I don't mind that.
Right.
My only issue with War for Cybertron is I'm not a big multiplayer person, so I'm mainly, if I eventually do get the game, I'm mainly getting it for the single-player story.
Right.
But, no, Prime, I still want to see more, and I'm sure with, I think by the time this episode airs, BotCon will have already been over for a couple of weeks, but as we're recording this, BotCon is about 2 weeks out, and I'm pretty sure Hasbro's going to show something at BotCon on TF Prime. It's not a movie.
The little description that was on TFW is, that they were revealing as their news or whatever was talking about, Bumblebee and a group of Autobots are searching for their new leader, blah blah blah, and I just wanted to punch people in the face that didn't understand that the new leader was Prime. Like, that is Optimus Prime. That's who they're going to find. That's who's going to be the leader. All these people were like, wait, Optimus is dead? How is Optimus not going to be in it? Who's going to be the new leader? Is Bumblebee the new leader? I'm just like, you guys are a bunch of frickin' retards. The damn title is Transformers Prime.
Well, it's like I just said. Hasbro is doing this whole thing where War for Cybertron is the new main backstory. Because it's a story that, granted, we did have, in G1 we had War Dawn, which was where the aerial bots went back in time to kind of see part of the war. But, really, honestly, the Great War, on the Cybertron version of the Great War, has never really been told. And I like the fact that High Moon Studios has done that in the War for Cybertron game, and that gives Hasbro the pretty much go-ahead to use it in, because Hasbro's pretty much, one of my buddies that records ToyCast with me, General Techno, he's pretty much said that, Hasbro, and it's true, they're taking most of their fiction and they are becoming a media company, more so than just a toy company. And, I don't understand why all these people on TFW, and I don't read TFW boards. I just don't. There's just no offense to the people that run that website. You know, I'm glad that we have that website, but the people that are on those boards are just morons.
Yeah.
In general, and I don't understand why they're saying, "Oh wait, so it's not going to be Prime." Hello, have you seen the War for Cybertron storyline? It's the whatever the current Autobot leader is, he's dead.
Yeah.
And Optimus, it's a story of Optimus coming into the leadership. So
right.
I don't know why they're.
I couldn't be more excited. That's probably about whether, regardless of who it focuses on, just the fact that it's talking about the Transformers when they were on Cybertron before they came to Earth is just awesome, and that's a good storyline to delve into and explore. I hope they don't look exactly like the movie characters look, even though the Bumblebee that they've shown on their promo does look like the movie, but whatever.
No, with this whole little blurb about the plot line coming out, I don't understand why they just can't. From what I've heard, it's a combination of animated and movieverse design as far as the design of Prime. But I don't understand why they just didn't throw that idea out once all the designs for War for Cybertron, the game, came out, and just port that over to make it a cartoon.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they couldn't have done that, because the War for Cybertron designs are easily the best designs we've seen in years as far as like updating of the characters. I mean, you know, Optimus is essentially a Cybertronian El Camino. And that's cool as hell.
Right. Okay.
But I'm very glad that it's not a movie tie-in cartoon, thank God.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah, I'd be going crazy. So, the history lesson.
All right. For our history lesson, we're supposed to be talking about Heathcliff. Diverging from the script a little here, but Heathcliff is the foot-high feline with an attitude. He's created for the McNaught newspaper syndicate by comic artist George Gately in 1973, 5 years before the birth of Heathcliff's closest comic strip cat rival, Garfield. Accordingly, Heathcliff's TV debut occurred several seasons before Garfield's, first as a network series and then as a separately produced syndicated daily. The first Heathcliff series was ABC's Heathcliff and Dingbat in 1980, which was produced by Ruby Spears, which had 27 episodes, which the first component was Heathcliff and the second component was Dingbat and the Creeps, who starred someone we might know, Frank Welker. And then in 1981, the series was retitled The Heathcliff and Marmaduke Show. So then we had the Heathcliff, the Dingbat and the Creeps, and Marmaduke as 3 different segments. And then finally we switched over from Ruby Spears to Deke Enterprises in 1984. Fresh from their local syndication triumph, Inspector Gadget came up with a daily half-hour Cindy officially titled Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats. On the whole, there was 65 episodes of the syndicated Heathcliff, and it was a tremendous improvement over the earlier ABC series. And basically, Heathcliff had at least one strong drawing card that was a holdover from the Ruby Spears version, which was Mel Blanc, who celebrated his 50th year in showbiz by supplying the Bugs Bunny-ish voice of Heathcliff. So that does it for the history lesson. What are your memories on Heathcliff?
I don't remember the previous series. Outside of Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats, I don't think I've ever seen the other 2 series.
Me neither.
So, yeah, basically when I think of Heathcliff, I think of that Deke series in 84, and, of course, Mel Blanc as Heathcliff. When I was watching it back, I watched a couple episodes on YouTube. I did not, I don't know, maybe I wasn't paying much attention, but I did not hear Bugs Bunny's voice in Heathcliff at all. But that's just...
No, I didn't really either that much. There's certain times that you could, but if you don't go in looking for it, I don't think you see it.
Yep. Yeah. Overall, it's not one of the cartoons that I remember watching vividly. It kind of falls into the bunch, and a lot of the Hanna-Barbera. Well, this isn't Hanna-Barbera, but a lot of these those types of cartoons, like with Looney Tunes and all that stuff, they fall into the category for me of, oh, it's on, I'll watch it. It's not like, oh, hey, 3 o'clock every afternoon, He-Man's on, you know?
Right.
It was like, oh, cool, cartoons. Good deal. I'll watch this now. So, yeah.
I loved this show as a kid. obviously we're going to have constant comparisons between Heathcliff and Garfield probably over the course of this episode, but I loved Heathcliff. I love the Cadillac Cats. I just liked everything about this show. I probably liked it more as a kid than I do now, but even watching it back now, I still didn't have too much of a problem watching it and being entertained. It's kind of like in the vein of, I'm not comparing it to the Looney Tunes cartoons or some of that stuff, but it's kind of like those in the fact that it doesn't matter what time period you're watching it in. It's still gonna be entertaining, and it's still the comedy in it is not dated to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that you can just watch and be entertained in any era by any age, really. Obviously, kids are going to like it a little more than adults because it doesn't have a lot of adult content or whatever. But I just remember this show very fondly from when I was a child. But like you, I don't remember the first two versions. But this is probably one of this and Inspector Gadget are probably two of Deke's best cartoons.
Yeah.
So, some stuff Deke didn't do a good job with, G.I. Joe, but some stuff they did right, and this is one of them. But I never knew growing up that Heathcliff was the same voice as all the Looney Tunes, that's for sure.
Yeah, when back when you were still absent and I had to find someone else to record the Looney Tunes episode with, episode 20, I went through and gathered all of the information I could find on Blank, and a lot of his other non-Looney Tunes roles really surprised me.
Yeah.
Like, in the back of my mind, I knew he was Barney Rubble, but just seeing it on paper, like, wow, he was Barney Rubble, what the hell?
Yeah.
And
this is 50th year for him back in the 80s here as Heathcliff, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Very impressive. I don't recognize, outside of Peter Cullen, I don't recognize any of these people as far as the voice cast.
You should recognize one of them.
Stan Jones, he was...
That's what I was going to say, Scourge.
Well, I was gonna say, what's his name? The fucking Nebulon, Zarek. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was Scourge, too.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. But yeah, a lot of them. Danny Mann. The only other thing I know him from is he was one of the main characters in the Popples. Ted Ziegler, I've never heard of before. The Donna Christie, I'd really never heard of before. So you're right. A lot of this cast is more of a lesser known voice actors outside of Blanc, Cullen, and that's about it. Even Stan Jones isn't a huge name in voice acting, but it's an interesting cast, kind of a mix there.
Yeah, but I mean, you pretty much watch this for the Heathcliff character himself.
Although
at least I did.
I love the Cadillac Cats. I love the Cadillac Cats. And just to go down, obviously on the Heathcliff segments, you had Heathcliff. Who we should talk about a little bit, because this is where we can get our Garfield comparison. Basically, with Garfield, you have a fat, lazy cat that will do anything to get out of work. He likes his lasagna. He's kind of everything that you're usually yelled at for a kid by your parents. And he just kind of gets away with it. Mischievous still, but Heathcliff is kind of a completely different character because Heathcliff is kind of like the street. He's like the thug cat.
Well, see, that's why I said earlier that the other mischievous cat that wasn't on the schedule was Top Cat, because I equate Top Cat to Heathcliff more than I do Garfield.
Right. I agree.
The only thing Garfield has in common with Heathcliff is they're both orange.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think the thing that I liked most about Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats is it was almost like the Cat Mafia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Heathcliff would walk down the street, and you just had to get out of his way, and Garfield was the type of person that would sit around and wait to be fed, whereas Heathcliff was going to go get the food.
Yep.
He's going to take it from you, and then the Cadillac Cats are just like their own little gang. But on the Heathcliff segments, you have him and then his girlfriend, so to say, the white cat named Sonia.
Mm-hmm.
And then those are basically the main two characters on the Heathcliff segments, with maybe you could throw in Spike the dog as another guy. And then the Cadillac Cats are headed by Riff Raff, which is kind of a shorter cat with a hat on. And then you had Cleo, which was his chick, which is kind of a taller cat. Then you had two cats that looked a lot alike, just different colors, which is Hector and Wordsworth. Hector being brownish and Wordsworth being white. And then you had Mungo, who I absolutely love. This is the humongous gray cat, taller and bigger than all the other cats. Kind of talks makes himself sound kind of dumb.
Yeah.
And then Leroy, which is the junkyard dog. Meaner than a junkyard dog character. That's kind of the nemesis of the Cadillac Cats. But I think they were great characters. I think top to bottom they're great characters, which I think is something different from Garfield. Garfield, you usually only liked Garfield. I don't think even though I did, a lot of people didn't like the U.S. Acres characters as much. I think this one's a better top to bottom group of characters as far as personalities and stuff like that. I may like some of the voice acting better on the Garfield characters, but character-wise, I like these guys better.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, your favorite's Heathcliff.
Yeah.
Out of the Cadillac Cats, did you have a favorite or a least favorite, or do you not remember them as much?
I don't remember them as much, honestly. I watched like 2 episodes of this on YouTube, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And, I don't know.
I love the Cadillac Cats. I love Riff Raff, and I especially love Mungo. The only one I don't like, and I'm going to get this wrong, is it's either Hector or Wordsworth. It's one of them, the one that talks in the higher pitched voice. I don't really like him because I can't stand listening to him talk, but all the other ones I like. But yeah, in YouTube you almost have to search for the Cadillac Cats because they have their own segments usually by themselves, and Heathcliff sometimes is in those and sometimes isn't. So you usually can either get a Heathcliff segment or you get a Cadillac Cat segment. You kind of got to search for whatever one you're trying to watch, but
yeah,
definitely better than Dingbat and Marmaduke.
Yeah, poor Marmaduke. I mean, those comic strips are awesome, but they've just butchered him in other media.
Yeah,
especially with that fucking movie. Oh my god, I will never see that. No.
So
yes. Other than the list of everyone that worked on the show in the production segment, we don't really have any production notes.
I'm trying to think if there are some writers that
for season 1, oh wow, Chuck Lorre worked on this show. Holy crap!
Yeah. Doug Booth is the only other one I recognize. You should recognize some of the people that assisted in the production.
Storyboard.
One of them. Above storyboards, it says assisted by.
Oh.
Third one in.
Ah! Okay, that's it. This episode's over.
No, it's not.
This episode's over. That's it. It's dead. See you later.
There is a connection for those out there between Heathcliff and Ren and Stimpy.
Shut up. just shut up.
Okay.
Let's see. The second season, I don't recognize any of the writers.
Andy Hayward is one of the guys that produced it. He's basically one of the people that drove Deke into the ground eventually. He wasn't the smartest businessman in the world.
Good.
Well, he and his two partners actually ended up becoming bitter enemies because of it. And they left, and then they came back, and it was all kinds of crazy.
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting. If you want to actually read an interesting story about an animation studio, Deke would probably be one of the better ones to read.
Yeah.
I don't recognize any of the writers on the second season.
Yeah, I think when I got the script information for this, I was just being lazy because it was in Wiki, and I didn't feel like going to IMDb and getting all the separate whatever. So, getting into the actual show, as far as the premise of Heathcliff, the first season ran for 65 episodes in the second season for 21 more. Each episode included a backup segment featuring the Cadillac Cats, which is why the show is sometimes referred to as Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats. The second segment is referred to in the closing credits as Cats & Co. While the series was on the air, a movie aptly titled Heathcliff the Movie was released, which was a compilation of segments from this show. In the UK, the show aired on CBBC during the late 80s, early 90s, and was usually billed under the title Heathcliff, Cats & Co. Reruns are not currently aired, but a few DVDs have been released. In 2004, UAV Corporation released 2 DVDs, each with 9 segments from the show. Then, the following year, Shout Factory released a set with the first 24 episodes of the show. Shout Factory, unfortunately, has since lost the rights to the show. Why? Why the hell did they lose the rights? I don't get that. They do so much other great stuff. How the hell can they lose the rights to Heathcliff?
I don't know. I don't know what that was all about.
No. As far as the film, Heathcliff the Movie was released January 17th, 1986, and includes 7 segments of the original show, including Cat Food for Thought, Heathcliff's Double, Siamese Twins, Obedience School, The Cat Father, Boom Boom Puccini? Wow, that's horrible.
Sounds bad.
That's so horrible. And Pop's Parole. I honestly,
Heathcliff's dad was a convict, just in case we didn't mention that before.
It goes to the whole gangster thing, so
right,
or mafia thing, or whatever. I honestly don't even remember the damn movie.
No, I mean it's just the shows. It's just a bunch of.
Well,
shows.
yeah, no, I know, but I mean the whole thing back in the '80s was with almost everything. Oh, we have this really great property. Let's make a movie out of it, like Transformers. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying this to be. I'm not meaning this negatively, but like Transformers the movie, G.I. Joe the movie, Man and Shiro the Secret of the Sword the movie, and just taking the properties and putting them on a larger scale.
Yep.
Getting into the music segment here, 2 versions of the Heathcliff Deke series theme song were made. In its original broadcast run, the theme song began with the lines "Cats and Company have fun, playing pranks on everyone," and returned to "Cats and Company" phrase often throughout the song, perhaps in order to clarify that possible confusion about the name of the show. It was later replaced with a version that removed all references to Cats and Company. The second version began, "Heathcliff, Heathcliff, no one should terrify the neighborhood." The phrase "Heathcliff just won't be undone, playing pranks on everyone" replaces the original phrase. The original theme song is featured in a VHS releases as well as in the cable reruns. The UK broadcast, despite including the name Cats & Co. in the title, used the "No One Should" version of the theme song. I prefer the "No One Should" version.
Yeah. This theme song is just absolutely fan-frickin-tastic.
Yep.
I have it as the 3rd best 80s theme song, only behind Mysterious Cities of Gold and Adventures of the Gummy Bears. This theme song is awesome. It makes you excited. It makes you ready to watch the show. It's catchy. It's upbeat. It's quick. It's just, there's nothing you can say bad about this theme song.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
This definitely, you can argue Garfield on other points, theme song, Heathcliff wins.
Well, I like the Garfield theme song.
This one's just better.
Yeah. Well, I think what I like about the Garfield theme song actually the best is the whole announcer bit. And now it's time for Garfield and Friends.
Yeah. After that it goes downhill.
Oh, come on. Lasagna, La Bamba.
Yeah. The only thing good about the Garfield was at the ending. Different endings. No, I don't mean that it was over. I meant the different endings that Garfield would say as he switched it up. But and the series music was, of course, Shuki Levy and Haim
Saban.
Yeah, who we've seen in a lot of different stuff.
Yep.
But good music as far as the theme song goes, that's for sure.
Yes. So I guess going into the legacy segment here, do we have an IGN listing? Probably not.
Not on there, I don't think. I don't think. I'm not 100% sure, but...
as I mentioned before, in 2005, Shout Factory released Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats in a 4-disc box set featuring the first 24 episodes of the series. It's not known if the remaining episodes will ever be released, as Shout Factory subsequently lost the distribution rights. On that DVD, you have original promos, a click-through gallery of panels from the syndicated newspaper cartoon Heathcliff from its 1973 inception to the present day, and an interview with current Heathcliff comic panel illustrator Peter Gallagher. Why does that name look so familiar?
I don't know. Can't help you there.
Wasn't he the... Yeah, well, it's... yeah, he's the dad from the OC. Oh my god. He's the guy that Sandra Bullock tried to wake up in while you were sleeping. Can't believe I actually admit that I've seen that film. I'm surprised there isn't more information on Heathcliff as far as merchandising. I know, everything in the 80s got merchandised to death.
Yeah, there's a lot of Heathcliff stuff out there, that's for sure.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm sure somebody had a Heathcliff lunchbox.
Heathcliff lunchbox, yeah, Heathcliff everything. I'm sure it was on everything. Pencil pouches and...
Pencil pouches? What the hell?
The little bag that you could put your pens and pencils in that would come in like a book bag.
Okay.
I had one that had Silverhawks on it, just so you know.
Oh, God. Yeah, we did not need to know that. Okay.
ToonCast will be back after these messages.
This is the Brain, and you're listening to the GeekCast Radio Network. Yes.
This is the in-between segment. You will find this in the after Tara Strong, as Bubbles says, ToonCast will be back after these messages. Hey guys, it's Mike and Kevin from ToonCast, and in the actual episode record, I forgot to bring up the fact that we have 2 new iTunes reviews. One that was done on June 4th, 2010, and one that was done on June 6th, 2010. So we're going to read those off and give some feedback. I would also like to bring up the one that was done by Guargasm. Wow, that's a little bit of a strange name. The name of the review is DuckTales. DuckTales was my all-time favorite cartoon ever made. That was posted on March 7th of 2010. I'm sorry, dude. That's not an actual review. That's more of a feedback thing. But anyway, the next one is written by Art of Kevin, which I'm assuming is Kevin C., our mystery caller, the one that I called a stalker, which he actually isn't. But anyway, so yeah, I wanted to clear that up. It says, a Toontastic listen. ToonCast is an excellent show about classic cartoons. They provide an excellent adult perspective on cartoons that help shape the industry. If you are looking to reminisce on your childhood favorites or learn more about what made them great, ToonCast is a must-listen. Thank you very much, sir. We always appreciate
excellent.
Yes, good reviews as well, and it was a 5-star feedback review. Yes, thank you very much. The next one is done by They're Here. What kind of screen name that is, but great podcast, ... For a look back at 80s cartoon nostalgia, this would be a 5-star podcast if it weren't for the horrible-sounding audio. It's fun to listen to this podcast, but they seriously need to correct the audio before putting them out there. Some people you can hear, but most of the time it's either too loud with static or voices are so low you have to constantly adjust the volume to hear someone speak. That is my only gripe, but otherwise it's a good podcast. Well, sorry. We can't always control who we have on the show as far as how we have to contact them. Normally we use Skype, and normally it comes out okay for the most part. But there was a little while there where someone didn't have internet, and we had to use cell phone coverage, and I was tired of finding a guest co-host every week. So yeah, basically putting Kevin back to work here.
That's right.
That's right.
I still liked it though.
I guess. Thank you for the review. I mean, constructive criticism aside, and I fully admit that the earlier episodes of ToonCast, they're okay. I mean, when I started this show, I was just coming off the heels of TFG1 podcast, so I was still learning. It still is a learning curve. Shit just tends to happen every now and then as far as the actual quality. We don't actually have, or I don't actually have, professional editing software, but we try to be as professional as possible. But anyway, just wanted to thank those of you who have written iTunes reviews again. So please keep writing those reviews.
Do not be alarmed. This transmission is being jacked by the lunchroom. We are here to tell you that the lunchroom has been rebooted. It is now a part of the GeekCast radio network and is still available at thelunchroom.net. It debuts every Monday or Wednesday or whenever we see fit to give it to you. Any further information can be found at thelunchroom.net. We will now return you to your regular program.
Did you know that Justin Bieber's actually Webster in a girl suit?
Did you know that Teddy Ruxpin's friend Grubby actually a tapeworm?
Did you know that Gargamel was really a cat lady?
Did you know that Billy Zane is the only man to ever beat Chuck Norris? If you didn't know any of these things, then you should be currently listening to Chicken Pop Pod Retro Comedy Podcast. Catch it at chickenpoppod.com.
Indeed I am, Michael. And I am here to help you and Kevin take over podcasting.
Now back to ToonCast.
So, final thoughts on Heathcliff.
Heathcliff to me is a great cartoon. I have fond memories of it. I watched it as a kid. I liked it as a kid. Mike, you had a good point, though, that, it's not something that I scheduled around, I had to be home at this time to watch Heathcliff, or I knew it was on at this time at every day. Mm-hmm. But I enjoyed watching it, and I think Heathcliff is a great example of why cartoons from the 80s kick ass. It's just a perfect example of what cartoons in the 80s were all about. Just having fun and entertaining you for a half hour or however long it was on. And Heathcliff was great. I would actually say that I like Heathcliff better than Garfield. Which I like Garfield and I like the U.S. Acres characters, but I think the Cadillac Cats kick U.S. Acres' ass, and I think you can't mess with the Mafia Cats. They're just going to beat you up.
I remember Garfield more, so I have to disagree. While I thoroughly enjoy Heathcliff himself and his interactions, and I think he's more in line to be compared with Top Cat than Garfield, as far as the actual overtone of the show. Yeah, Garfield rules.
A disagreement. I've never imagined that we would disagree on something.
Yeah, I don't even know when the last time we agreed on something was, so whatever. We have anything else we want to say?
Heathcliff's awesome.
Yes. Anyways, yeah. ToonCast is not responsible for Kevin Thompson's opinions.
Should be.
No. Thank you for joining us here on ToonCast. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. First, you can visit geekcastradio.com and comment on the episode post there. Join the forums, PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter. GCRN ToonCast is mine. TFG and Mike is mine as well. What is your Twitter?
Boss K Dog.
Become a fan on Facebook. Search Geekcast Radio Network. Call. Well, no, don't call. The number's still dead. We hope you enjoyed this episode of ToonCast. It was show join us next time. We'll be reminiscing on Woody Woodpecker. And just to let everybody know that the outro theme for this episode will actually be the Heathcliff theme because I'm not subjecting everyone to Woody Woodpecker twice. So, because that theme just sucks. It just does. So for now, I am TFG and Mike with
Optimus Solo from BehindTheVoiceActors.com.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.
Ooh. Technical difficulties. Let's move on, shall we?